What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. This is another video for an account takeover or review. In this video, we'll be hopping into Poker Danish. We're going to call him PokerD's account here. Level 100. He's a little bit more of a late game player, probably heading into the early end game. And I think it just gives you guys a different perspective on this level of account. He's probably in a spot where a lot of people might be able to relate. He feels stuck. He doesn't feel able to progress. So I want to go over his account, give you guys some insight into it, and see where we can direct his game time that will give him the most enjoyment. So anyways, let's jump right into it. All right, so this is the little bit of context here from poker. So he's been playing for about, let's say, 2.5 years. He doesn't really know. He's past V6 and all that stuff, so he's definitely been, late game player for sure. He has a solid roster. He's low spend. He uses the monthly raid card for the XP boost. I actually asked him specifically about what he actually spends on, and he actually said not much more than basically the raid pass, not even the gems. So he's a very, very low spender for his lifetime. His dungeon progression: Fire Knight 7, Dragon 8, Spider Hard, Sand Devil 25, Shogun 25, not as consistent. Iron Twins 10, Iron Twins is 100%, that's great, so he's farming the blessings. The Doom Tower is all clear, Faction War is all clear, Clan Boss, all 1 key, great. So this kind of account is a lot different, right, than some of the ones we've seen on this takeover channel. He's very well progressed in this game. He's definitely, completed everything. He's just looking for some direction on what he wants to do after. So it's a very interesting take. I think it's relatable. So let's see if we can help this guy out a little bit. All right, so let's jump into the shard count for poker here. So far it looks pretty good. He's got 24 sacred, 16 primals, over 200 ancients and 140 void shards. He can handle any kind of guarantee champion that comes our way. So he has lots of flexibility with dealing with fusions, and this is kind of what you can expect once you hit the late game end game account. He's able to farm the top 3 clan bosses with 1 key, so he's stacking up lots of shards and all that stuff, and he's being disciplined with them, waiting for good opportunities to use them. Fragment fusions, he doesn't have many here. He just has the 1 epic. Very low mold fragments, which means he either doesn't go for many fusion events, or he completes all the fusions that he basically attempts, which means he's being efficient with his resources and not picking up extra pieces of fusions that get converted into mold chests. Remnant summons, nothing too exciting here to talk about. Let's jump into his Great Hall here, and let's see. So today is Friday. So usually what I want to see from the win-loss column is a total amount of battles. This kind of means like your commitment to the classic arena format. Usually by Sunday, I'm looking for over 200 battles. That means you're basically about 85, 90% efficient with all the available tokens that you have. So he's about halfway there. I think this is probably the bare minimum. He's definitely not committing as much time as he should be to progress this quickly or more optimally. I think the Great Hall usually takes about 2 years of relatively optimal play to complete. So he's about, halfway there. So it's going to take him a little bit more effort on his part just to bring up these battles. But of course it takes time. In terms of where he's putting his medals, looks good to me. He's got the accuracy maxed out, crit damage, and then he's working on specific stats for specific affinities. So he's got HP and attack maxed out for his voids. And now he's working on his defense for spirit, and he's got, it looks like he's got some good direction here on what he wants to do. Let's check out his tavern here real quick. I like it. Seeing a couple hundred brews at least means he can at least handle training events as they come. So training events, you can usually have a pretty good sense of how well they do based on how many brews. A couple hundred of each means that he can probably handle any training event coming his way. Chickens, not insane amounts of chickens, but workable amounts, like good amount of 4-star, good amount of 3 stars here. Checking out his books. He's got enough books for 1 legendary champion. That's great. Once you're starting to hit like the Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, you can expect about 10 to 12 books just from chess per month. And that doesn't include like events or anywhere else you can get legendary books like Tag Team Shop, for example, clan shop, for example, or your monthly legendary book. Quick note here about his champions. I kind of see a bunch of his champions are not fully booked, which is really good. This kind of shows that even though he has a lot of good champions here that you kind of expect to be fully booked, it means that he's very conscious about not booking out specific champions. So for example here, yeah, let's check out Duchess here. He totally not booked her A1, booked out her A2, which is super important, and then booked out her revive. So that's really, really good discipline. You don't fully book out the champion, especially if you don't need her to be fully booked. Arbor here, not booked at all, which is awesome. Great to see. You don't really need to book out Arbor if all she's doing is doing her A3 and reviving once. You don't really need her to be fully booked out. Helicath here, he is partially booked. He's probably not using Helicath to his fullest, not in a clan boss or anything like that. Otherwise, you would fully book his unkillable block damage. Sorry. Cardiel, what's his fully booked? He's got the ally attack fully booked and the revive and the cleanse and block debuff. So that's all you really need. You don't want to fully book out the last book here for Cardiel. So that looks pretty good. Baron probably gets more damage here, but maybe you only need one hit from his righteous charge. So maybe he's saving the book there as well. But overall, I like what I see. I see some champions not fully booked, and definitely you can save some books that way if you don't book out everybody you see, of course. Quick note about his resources. He's got 5,600 gems, which is good. Silver, a little bit on the low side. He's energy capped right now, but not by much, which looks very good. He's a low spender, right? But even for low spenders, you definitely have to have the free-to-play mindset to manage everything properly. 160 crafts. He's got decent Magi steel, so he can basically perform well in like CVC and stuff. Not excessive amounts of material, means he's on top of it. Or he's not doing his, he's not farming everything up. It's really important to pay attention to the forge, just because, it's a good source of silver. It's a good source of points as well for CVC, so something to keep in mind. I want to help him out here. Let's check out his soul stones. He's got 15, so he's got the discipline to hold on to these. That's really, really good to see. Small ones, what do you got here? You got 9, so that gives you 21. We recently just had an event, so that's going to be on the lower side. He's got almost enough to do the 4-star for somebody, and the big ones, he's pretty far from his next 5 or 6-star. With that being said, let's check out what he's got in his stash. He got 6-star Toshiro. Otherwise, it just looks like a very reasonable stash of stuff. He's, nice and neat. Took away the 1-stars, so good. So it's definitely been managed pretty well here. Yeah, but looks good. Looks pretty normal. Looking for a good spot to use those 15 medium stones, I guess. Let's take a quick look at what he's working with in Arena. What is he working with in Arena here? He's got Armans, Teox, ally attack with the Baron. Kind of interesting. Yeah, interesting. So I guess Mikage is super fast. And then I guess you attack with the Teox. Kind of interesting. You don't get increased attack though. Oh wait, no, Mikage gives increased attack. Okay, I can see this. If she's going first, then that Armans, you might not even be necessary. Let's try against this. Let's try against this team here. Yep, she does go first. Oh, she's going first with the stun. It's kind of not necessary, right? It's kind of not necessary to go with the stun, because you have Armans. So you don't really need Armans, right? You don't really need, yeah, you don't really need the stun. Unless you're going for a double stun, in which case you should go Armans first, because Armans has a strip, right? Oh, I guess Armans' strip is on the E3. Yeah, I guess that works, but I feel like maybe you could do something else. Anyways, okay, so quick look there. What's his tag team look like? Silver 3, okay, so maybe he's working towards Ramontu. His defense. Running the old Madame Cirrus. Very damagey. Very, not like the most sturdy, right? Not the most sturdy teams here, but I'm surprised Tormund's on the bench. Hellcat's on the bench. Duchess is on the bench. So for like defense teams, I mean, Duchess probably ends up, here. Cardiel ends up here. I would say Tormund, you could probably end up there. Ancora could be useful too. Helikath is a bit of a pain for some people as well. Wukong's actually a pretty good defensive champion because he can get nuked and come back, and then he gives you a chance to win. So definitely, I feel like this defense can get changed up. I don't know if there's a specific reason why he's running some of these. But yeah, it definitely can get a little bit of work there. All right, let's take a quick look at his box here. Let's see what we can do, what we're working with. What are we working with here? So let's have a quick look here. Let's get a general overview, shall we? Let's go with Legos. It's got a good chunk of Legos here. Good chunk of Legos here. Got 82 Legos and mythicals. He's only got one mythical, and it's going to be Mikage. Let's see what we're working here. We got Mithrala here, Thor, great. Armand with the blessing, great. Nut with the 5-star, Reaper, nice. Quickswell, Rathlos, UDK, Arbiter. How fast is your Arbiter, sir? 313 in accuracy. That's interesting. Wonder why. Just ran his fastest gear on his account with the optimizer. He says his Arbiter can be 348. I think some of his Arbiter gear or the fastest gear on his account is spread out, I think, on Mikage. So Mikage here is 366, which is interesting. Okay, I made a mistake. I put 100% crit rate for the Arbiter. So the Arbiter here is 361. So he does have his basically fastest gear on his Mikage right now, which makes sense. I think if you're going to run Armands, you probably run without Mikage, I think. And then I think you run the Arbiter with the bigger speed lead, the 30% speed lead with the banner here, and then to go with the turn meter boost. But I did see that you're running Mikage and an Arbiter on separate tag teams, so maybe that's why you have them split up with 2 different speeds. But yeah, just an idea for you to kick around. What else you got here? You got Artak. He is in a decent build, no resistance, which means he can't solo. Maybe I would look into building resistance on your Artak so that you can start soloing some of the higher Ice Golem stages. So yeah, just taking a quick look in the optimizer at what kind of regeneration builds you can put on Artak with enough resistance. You need about 410, 420 just to have like minimal resistance needed for like Ice Golem 9, which is a really good stage for Artak to farm with 4 food. And at least 300 accuracy I would shoot for. I would aim for about 200 speed, 250 speed, sorry. And yeah, so I think these stats are a little bit on the light side, but maybe you need some ascended gear. Just, I think bumping it up to maybe like 80k would make it a little bit more safer. But you definitely have the gear to make a solo Artak if you so choose. So maybe something to look forward to in the future. So I actually did see the Newt here. It's only 99% crit rate. Probably want to get this up to 100% so you don't like fail randomly on your runs. 450 accuracy is a little bit high. You can probably shed 100 accuracy off and you'll be pretty good. Damage wise, 270 crit damage might not be enough to crit cap some bosses without defense down weaken. So you might want to consider finding a set of savage gear to put on him. But yeah, of course the stats would be hard to hit. I did see the Rhonda here with the lethal and cruel set. That's a pretty good set for her. Damage wise, 85% crit rate. So you're a little bit short. Are you looking for crit rate here? That would still be short, but not ascended gear. I'm just trying to see who has your best gear. Thor looks like he has your best attack base gear. This is a good build. Solid build, good accuracy for Hydra, good crit damage, crit cap, 200 speed, decent attack. This is a good build. Nature's Wrath is correct. Masteries. He's got nuker masteries. So this is your arena nuker. He has arena nuker masteries. So you got first hit here, first hit extra damage, cycle of violence extra damage. I didn't see him on your arena team. So yeah, it might be something else, maybe using him for something else, but Thor is a much better Hydra champion than he is arena nuker, but he's still a good arena damage dealer as well. What does your Armands look like? 730 accuracy, looks solid. Decent speed. Not the most insane speed or anything like that. And usually you want to run Stone Skin, but very, very reasonable as well. Could make him faster if you want, or try to get him into some kind of Stone Skin set. I see after running the optimizer with 700 accuracy and a 1-turn Stone Skin, you can only make 283 speed. So that's probably why you probably stayed away from Stone Skin. You probably don't have much good Stone Skin on this account. With 500 accuracy, you go back up to 320 speed, which is more reasonable, but your accuracy drops quite a bit. So you do have some options here to make this kind of work. But you do take some of your best speed gear from Akage, which you probably are not willing to do. But Arman's is there, potentially to be re-geared if you like. But I would definitely look into at least one turn Stone Skin. Even if you're one turn Stone Skin and you get outsped, you still get a chance to come back in, strip their stuff, or stun them, of course, and then retake control of the fight. So Stone Skin, I would highly recommend on Arman's. So far, I see the best damage gear on Thor. Let's see what else you got. Wukong. Wukong's in some kind of support build, I guess. Damage. He's in damage support. He's in support. Okay, so running the Eagle Eye Mastery, you're not running arena damage dealing mastery, so you're not running him for damage. Okay, so you want him to be fast. If he's running support, you want him to be full support. So run him fast with much higher accuracy. Remove the crit rate, crit damage from him, and run much higher accuracy. Use him for his sheep, use him for his block buffs, use him for his strips. But don't use him for damage without the damage masteries and Helm Smasher here. That would be my recommendation for him. Baron, another damage dealer I did see you use for your arena team. Good speed, good damage, good attack. Masteries look good. Arena damage dealer. There you go. Good. Reaper. Full 100%. Yeah, good. Baron looks good. Teox, is he in your best attack-based damage gear? Yes, he's in pretty good gear. Pretty good gear. Better than Thor? Similar. I would say similar. He's in lethal. So he probably has your best gear. Teox. And I would recommend probably getting his blessing up to 4-star, which would be more reasonable than saying get to 6-star. Of course you want 6-star, but for sure get him to 4-star so you can deal some extra damage. So that's good. Baron, probably the same idea. Get him Baron to 4-star if you still consider using him. Duchess, 9-piece protection, probably for Hydra. I would consider using her maybe for Arena, but this build might not be the best for Arena. Got Fox here, not build. Cardiel. Cardiel is kind of a weird build here. I would recommend one turn Stone Skin, fast. Yeah. But this build, yeah, you're probably just using it just for speed. You don't have enough resistance to do anything, so you'll be better off with like an HP stat here, HP stat banner. Lydia, speed, she's fast, got accuracy. That's about it. That's all she really needs. Just kind of using her general usage. Looks good. Regen for Pytheon. Not sure what you're using him for that you need regen. He already has the A1 heal, so he's going to be healing himself up pretty good. Regen is not really necessary for him. But maybe you have this for specific content. 210 speed is a little bit slow as well. Sisia, really good accuracy. Wonder why. Really good accuracy. Everything else looks fine. Everything else looks fine. Rabbit, low accuracy here. Probably could go for a little bit more. Crit capped. Good speed. Yeah, looks okay. A little bit of accuracy I think wouldn't hurt. Okay, so it looks like the builds kind of fall off there a little bit. We have Molly here, which is really good in Relentless. More too. We got Ninja, Ungeared. Lots of options here for this account. Mishinaki's here as well. Decent build. Need some damage stats. Crit rate, crit damage. Otherwise, looks pretty okay. Eostrit, very good for Hydra. So that's definitely somebody that you want to build up. Whether it be for Team 1, Team 2, or Team 3. Very, very good champion. Just checking out the box here. He's full on his artifacts. Let's have a quick look at how bad it looks. Okay. Okay, so at least he's done the basic maintenance, right? So for me, I'm changing up the flat stats. I'm adding flat stats for the bottom row pieces. Those are easy sells. So you got all those down on lockdown. How about rarity here? You got any 5-stars? You do have some 5-stars here. These ones can probably go, especially like with bad sets like this. Like crit rate and stuff. Maybe you just haven't gotten around to it, or maybe you just did a big farming session. But some of these can probably hit the bins, right? Hit the bins. So half of your gear is actually 5-star, so that kind of shows the overall strength of the account. I think for myself, I still have some 5-star, but definitely much less. So definitely worthwhile to do, you know, an extra cleanse here, just get rid of some of these 5-star pieces. You probably were waiting to roll these up, maybe, but yeah, definitely some extra work here to do. Check out the accessories. A lot of stuff is unrolled. Nice farming session here for a pinpoint. Kept all your stuff, so you got a lot of stuff to sift through. I see a lot of stuff that's unrolled, so definitely worth going through. Just for some extra silver, I saw your silver is a little bit low, so 11 million. Definitely can help that out a little bit. Okay, so there's some final comments about his box here. So some of his champions seemingly have builds that don't really make kind of too much sense. Like for example, Cardio. Cardio's in a full perception set. He doesn't need accuracy to do really much. I mean, he can place True Fear, but doesn't really need it, right? And then you have like Arbiter here with the full perception set as well. Just depends on what you want to use her for. It's always better just to give her like full speed gear. I noticed Teox, Baron, they both have basically your best damage sets. Teox, Baron, and Thor, best damage stats on them. Mithrala, a little bit light on stats here. Resistance and accuracy is fine for PvE. It's not going to do much for PvP. Speed, a little bit on the low side. You want her to go basically faster than most of your team, just to get the cleanse first, especially for Arena. You can kind of see here that she's not much faster than Teox, and Teox's passive will cheat him forward pretty easily. Arman's, I said, you know, one piece, one turn stone skin. His UDK is in regen, which is interesting. So if you want to use him for Arena, you're going to go with 6-piece stone skin, which would be another big focus for this account, is definitely farm that stone skin gear. It seems like you might not get much in the beginning, but over time you'll definitely be able to build out your stone skin stuff. I'd say give it about 3 to 6 months of farming Hydra consistently, getting the chest, and then you'll have plenty of gear to go around. UDK is one of the easiest stone skin champions to gear. You just give him things with no speed, just HP percentage, and then he'll do a lot of work for you in the arenas. You got Hellcat here built with damage, which is pretty interesting, but I mean, this build works especially for Hellcat. I don't like him this slow because that means he's not going to be able to apply his block damage that quickly. And it is on a 4-turn cooldown, so it's going to wear off and then he won't be able to get it back fast enough if he's at this speed. So definitely make him a little bit faster, even if you have to cut off some of his damage. 1-turn stone skin also recommended for him, so he gets a turn so he can place his block damage. You can work on the R-Tac to be a solo R-Tac if you want. You need some resistance. He needs to be a little bit faster, but it looks like you have the stats on your account to do so. Rhonda is a fine damage dealer here. Looks good. Seal of the Drake's probably not get used too much in this build. Torment, good accuracy, slow, kind of okay. Maybe you can squeeze in some cheeky revenge accessories like the amulet or one of these banners, and then they'll give him a chance to counterattack, which is pretty annoying as well. What else you got here? You got Destroy Set, Septimus, Ungeared, and then the rest of the champions are kind of like whatever here. So it looks like you can support like 4 damage dealers, 4 or 5 damage dealers, which makes about sense, right? You want at least 1 good damage dealer per tag team account, tag team, so that you can actually do some stuff. And having, I would say, 4 good damage dealers means you're pretty viable in live arena. You have some options. Wukong here, you're building him out in support. Then you want him to do support things. You want him to be fast. You want him to have more accuracy, so he will be able to land his debuffs and strip the enemy. For Hydra, Eostrid's a really good pick for Hydra. Definitely focus on her, beat her out. I guess you need books, which kind of sucks, so she's probably going to be on the back burner a little bit. Mishinaki's build probably needs to get changed here. You need crit rate, crit damage. He hits hard. Otherwise, you can keep the stats on him, so not too bad. Elva here looks okay. She could be faster, a little bit more tanky, and then she can be a decent option for you in like live arena, for example, or even tag team. She's a good champion overall. Archer, congratulations on Archer. Good speed, good accuracy, so obviously a Hydra champ here. She looks pretty good as is. Good blessing. Got the cruelty blessing on her as well, so no issues with that. Regen, Python. Probably switch him out to make him faster with one turn stone skin, so that he could cleanse your team before your team goes, and then your team can go. Something similar to Cardiel in terms of speed, but Cardiel and Python probably want one turn stone skin, which leads me to basically what you should focus on, which is probably Hydra. You definitely want to do some good Hydra here. It looks like you are doing, you said 1 billion after you got Teox before the changes. So 1 billion damage. So you're probably expected to do maybe half of that right now. So 500 million. Yeah, so you're probably going to end up maybe with this chest, the third chest. And you know, that's fine. It's just something to work on, but it's definitely worthwhile to start grinding some of these gear pieces so that you can get more, you know, speed and then one turn stone skin to start working on your PvP stuff. Because at the end of the day, you probably want to try to get, you know, want to pick up the shards, you want to pick up the void shard, and then you want to pick up the sacred shard, which kind of helps, you know, gives you some extra goodies to go after. Silver 1 in live arena, you definitely want to put some attention to live arena. Getting the bonuses is really, really nice. Gives you a good edge, you know, extra stats in all the areas. You can put it in Hydra, for example. You can put it in Cintranos. I see you have no bonuses in Cintranos. And we have 1 week, 4 days left. And looks like you are working on it, which is good. You should definitely try to work on it every day. And I think with this account, you should be able to clear normal. You should be able to clear normal. This team should be able to clear Amius. Should be able to clear Amius. And yeah, getting the gear is very helpful. I noticed none of your champions are in Merciless gear. You know, Cintranos has been out for, you know, 9-10 months now. So you definitely need to have some of these gear pieces, gear sets. Oh, baby. So you did keep some stuff. Okay, that's good. So you just need to roll some of this stuff up. Definitely a lot of these champions, you know, there's some champions here that are going to benefit from the Merciless set quite a bit. I could see Thor really benefiting from it. Like, it's just going to be a straight upgrade over Cruel plus Savage. Remember, Merciless, 6-piece Merciless is, you know, 35% damage, ignore damage. So somebody like Thor definitely will benefit a lot. Could free up some of your ignore defense gear, and then you could put it on somebody else, for example. Another champion that could really benefit from Merciless gear would be like Mishnaki. Getting more of his AoEs back just means he's just going to be a powerhouse. And he actually needs some damage gear after, you know, obviously you geared out, you prioritize your damage dealers. I see that. So you're probably low on overall damage gear. So having the Merciless set come into play here, steady supply of Merciless gear will give you more options to build out some of your other damage dealers as well. So for example, like Ragash, Mishnaki here definitely require Merciless gear for some ignore defense damage. You could even build the Rabbit in Merciless. He's going to be pretty good in that as well. And yeah, right now he doesn't have any ignore defense gear. So definitely worthwhile to gear him out in Merciless if you start getting some. I see your Seer here. She's a little bit on the slow side, but that's fine. Good crit damage, good accuracy for normal daily stuff. I see Geomancer here. Good accuracy, probably using him for Iron Twins or something like that. So good for you there. What else you got here? Epics, you got Ugo, that's great. I see a Shamail, that's great. 2 Shamail, so you got 2 Hydra teams covered here with the Shamails. So yeah, looks good. Looks good there. No real complaints. I mean, the Torment stuff you got pretty covered, right? You got 2 Shamails, you got Cardiel. Those guys can handle the Head of Torment pretty good. You got Molly. You got Molly. You got Wixwell, and you got who else? You got Archer, and you have one more guy I saw. Oh, Islan, and you have Islan here. He's actually really good as just like a general provoker as well. Decreased speed as well. A1 provoke. So you have, you know, pretty good provokers on your account. So you got those all covered up. In terms of damage dealers, you got Teox, Thor, Razovar. Not really in this build, but he is a good damage dealer. You also have provoke from Visix if you want. Mishnaki's good damage. Ninja. Rathlos. Did I miss somebody? Sisia can pitch in with some damage too. AoE decrease defense and weaken. I think that's enough. I think that's enough. I probably need one more. Yeah, and I guess for block buffs, you got Monkey, Lydia, Ostrox, Ugo. And I guess that's decent enough options. You could use Loki, but I don't really like using Loki. It just doesn't bring enough. So you got these two plus Lydia plus Wukong. Should be enough. Should be enough for block buffs. So you have enough on your roster to cover all the like the key debuffs. And you have enough damage dealers to deal some damage. So that's really, really good to see. Obviously, for the Endgame account, definitely helps quite a bit. So what do you need to do at this point? So obviously, you can farm Clan Boss. You farm Dungeons, very fine. You can farm Hydra, very fine. You got Mithrala already. What's next? The next things for this account is basically to improve your builds so that they perform better. Allows you to push higher in PvP related content. So for example, you didn't put you're not putting a lot of effort into live arena. If you have better geared champions, it's going to make live arena more enjoyable, therefore making your climb and all that stuff, getting arena bonuses a lot more easy. And that kind of comes with like just having merciless gear, lethal gear, savage gear, stone skin gear, and that all kind of fits together, right? So what you're looking for is you're probably looking towards Centranos continuing to do well in Hydra. And then just farming up gear there. So that's one thing. The other thing is having good champions allows you to do well in, for example, here, tag team arena. So tag team arena, once you get into gold, you can get the sacred shard, for example. I see here you're actually still working on your Ramontu missions. You're on the last third of the Ramontu missions. The hardest ones will be Gomlock. I believe Gomlock is the... he's near the end. Here you go. Summon Gomlock Skyhide. Not sure where you are on him, but you probably are not very far if you're even there. Yep, you're at 0. So yeah, Gomlock is many month endeavor. So that's something to look forward to, looking ahead. But yeah, gearing your guys so that they are stronger with stronger PvP sets allows you to do better in things like tag team, which will help you progress towards Ramontu. So that's something that you can look forward to as well. I see your defense working out okay. You get double victories here, some losses, but it seems okay. Looks like your team 2 and 3 are decent, but yeah, not too bad. As long as you're winning some, not straight red, it's actually okay. It's actually okay. When you're straight red, it probably means you need to do something, or the level is too high for you. In addition to all that, having better PvP geared champions will also help you in Siege, because Siege is basically just another arena kind of format, right? It's just using your same arena champions in teams, just kind of slightly differently. So having better geared PvP champions will make this this feature and content a little bit more enjoyable as well. So those are kind of the things to work on, I think, since you completed all of Doom Towers, so that's not really a thing. I would definitely work on Cursed City. Cursed City, a lot of it is going to come down to blessings, epics. Blessings and epics. All right, so that's something to look out for. Try to do training events, gearing up some champions here. They're like, sometimes like if you have a training event, for example, you're like, oh, I got a training event here. I don't know what I really want to do. Should I level up more food? Well, how about take a quick peek at your Centranos and see what kind of stages you have coming up and what kind of rosters you can field. So for example, look, I have this, you have some pretty good options here. You have this coming up. You have some pretty good options. You have this coming up. You can kind of see here you have options, right? But once you start hitting levels where you don't have very good options, let's go to hard mode. So hard mode, like this stage, like you're digging into epics, right? And saying, oh, maybe I should 6-star my Zargala, right? You know what I mean? You should start thinking about some of these champions that you want to start using. Zargala's not bad, right? She can help you deal damage, and then she can obviously speed up your faction wars and all that stuff. So you use her in a couple other spots. Another champion would be like Duck the Piers, for example. You get some play there. And then here, this one, you're not going to get much play because you just don't have enough stars. So that's where I'm talking about for blessings. Blessings, you definitely need to, here, I'll show the roster again. But yeah, blessings is definitely going to be something that you have to pay attention to. So I wouldn't necessarily instantly sell like 4 or 5-star blessings for champions, especially usable champions. I would definitely take a longer look at them before selling them. Even something like this, you do have, so for example, I'll show you guys the box. Like you do have some options here. Like this is a workable team, so that's good. But yeah, so basically for stages that you just don't have that many options, like this one you got 2 60s. So it might be time for you to like do Harvest Jack, or it might be time for you to do like the 60 for the mushroom guy. You know what I mean? So Harvest Jack's not a terrible champion or anything, just, you know, just for this content, right? So it looks like you can do this. This guy looks like you can do. You might need to bring in the War Maiden just to go decrease defense, but see how it goes. Scarab. So yeah, so basically just take a closer look at your Centrano stages, what you have coming up, and then maybe look to level maybe like 1 or 2 champions, just so you can have a better shot at trying to clear that stage. And you know, every month try to progress a little bit more at a time, try to build a little bit more champions at a time, you know, 160 here, 160 there, you know, put some blessings on them so that they can perform for you. Keep in mind that if you're working on Marius, so Marius is the other thing too. Marius is very, very important. He's very good. So you want to get through the Marius missions. And one of the big things with the Marius missions is that there are missions that require you to bless up your champions. So that might be something that you need to pay attention to. Maybe you want to save, you know, some of the souls for those missions, for example. I don't know exactly where they show up, but I know that there was, you know, like bless one champion, bless a void champion or something up to like 4 stars or something like that. And there's like a couple of them. There's like a handful of those quests around. The last thing you want to do is get stuck on a quest and say, hey, I have to pull soul stones for a 4-star. So just be extra mindful that that kind of thing will exist. But yeah, Marius, when you get Marius, he's awesome. I just got him not too long ago, maybe like a month ago, and he's absolutely insane. I love him. He's one of my favorite champions to use. Super, super powerful. And I'd say definitely well worth the effort to try to get him. And yeah, I feel like the missions, they definitely ground you. So going for Ramantu, going for Marius, it's a lot of stuff to do, but I think it's something that to look forward to and to focus on as well. Focusing on your PvP, obviously champions, the gearing for them, Centranos, it's going to keep you busy, right? So I think, you know, these are kind of the things for, you know, late in-game players that they have to worry about. Now that they got their dungeon farming done, they got their clan boss all figured out. They even got the Doom Tower figured out. So Doom Tower is just basically another farm, right? Every monthly farm. You're just looking for a different farm. So now you're going to try to farm Curse City. You're going to look for the missions for your Marius and your Ramantu. And then your better geared champions will now play better in Siege. You're also looking to farm Hydra, right? Perform better in Hydra. You had already good performance previously. You know, after farming better gear, you'll perform better in Hydra, get higher chests. Maybe you'll win some clashes, get more rewards that way. But anyways, guys, hopefully this video was helpful. There's a lot to go on here. There's a lot of good in Poker's account. So I want to stress that as well. But I just wanted to provide him something a little bit different than from the previous videos. This is more like, here's some direction for you. Here's some ideas for you. You're smart enough to run with this now. Go with it, man. So hopefully this was helpful for you, Poker. Hopefully this was helpful to the viewers that are watching. Appreciate you guys watching to the end. Hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you guys have any tips for Poker yourself? Are you guys in a similar position as him, being a late or early endgame player, just kind of getting bored and running out of things to do and needing a guiding hand on where you should go and what you should focus on? Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate your time as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.